Hey guys, it's Matt with Midnight Farms again. I might get into this daily video thing. It's been kind of fun. You're kind of talking to everybody, especially the crappy weather we've had here in Camden lately. Well, I guess lots of parts of Tennessee. Me and Mike rode around yesterday and looked at the storm damage, and cause I think this is Tuesday. I think it was on Sunday. Yeah, it was Sunday. The electric company, when I called, because we were out of power too, just like everybody else, out on Highway 70, and they said we'd had 4,000 households or 4,000 customers out of electricity at the time. I don't remember exactly when, but I know people down in Eva and Hallshire, they didn't get some of their electricity back up till 6:30 yesterday morning. So my prayers with all you guys out there. And again, the linemen that are out there in the storms, making sure our refrigerators and TVs come back on. I appreciate it, and you guys are a very, very valuable part of society. So anyways, here's the gardening stuff. Alright. These are some more beefsteak tomatoes that I'm fixing to pot up. Those are just a few that I did last night. But I wanted to show you, if you use store-bought potting soil, this isn't that big of a concern. But if you mix up your own like I do here, you'll run into this more than if you use store stuff. I use my stuff. I know where my stuff comes from. I mix it specifically in a certain rate. But because it uses dirt, y'all, this is gonna be funny. I can't actually see really well right now because that flash, the flash on the camera with the light on, I've still got spots in front of my eyes from just staring at it. So every time I look at a little piece of grass growing up in one of these, as soon as I focus on it, I get the spot in my eye. So I've got to kind of look away to find the grass. But anyways, the point of this was to show you the majority of seedlings that you're going to plant, assuming you actually start from seed. They're going to come up 2 leaves. A lot of people, they worry in the beginning if they don't recognize what seedlings look like. You've done this long enough, you'll pick out tomato seedlings, easy. But when they just first start to pop up, a lot of people are curious, if this is a weed or if this is, a seedling that they planted. I'm going to show you a way to kind of figure it out, at least in relation to grasses. I don't know how close I can get to this one. That's somewhat close. This is a good example. This is a grass. Most grasses will only pop up 1 leaf at a time. And then you'll have a second leaf. Your first leaf that came up will be the tallest. The next leaf will come out, on the opposite side, and it'll be just a little bit staggered behind the other one. So they're not, they're not even. For example, like with the tomato seedling, and almost any seedlings, anything that you grow for food or even for a flower, almost all of them, when their first leaves come out, these aren't considered their true leaves. These are true leaves on a tomato plant. These first set of leaves are just to help it start to photosynthesize, and then when the plant gets bigger, they can just drop off, or you can cut them off, whatever. But when you see something coming up with just 1 leaf, like over here, or if you don't catch it till it's got 2 or 3 leaves, if they're staggered, see if I can tilt this in a little bit so you can see how it's. Focus a little bit. Okay, I guess I'm too close to focus. Maybe the rim of the pot's getting in the way. Come out a little bit. There we go. So, but you can see they're staggered. When you pull them up, of course, I guess at that point it's a little bit too late. A lot of times the root they'll have one root going down. This is a small one, so you're not really going to see it that much. But then you'll have another longer root. It'll almost look like the root's V'ing off, but you usually have a longer root going, off to one side. And that's because a lot of grasses will grow from rhizomes, where just the root will travel horizontally along the soil line, and then shoot up, sprouts along that root, along the route that the root takes. course, there's a couple more. You see that one? You know, it's two rounded leaves. That may very well be a coleus, so I'm going to leave it alone for now. Coleus comes out as two very rounded leaves next to each other, and usually pretty small. Let me see if I can find, I may not have brought it in here, but a morning glory. Oh, I put it over with my other morning glories. It's a purple morning glory. But once you've done this long enough, you'll start recognizing specific flowers, specific plant leaves. A morning glory has almost two H-shaped flowers when they first, leaves when they first leaf out. Yeah, I don't see any more in here. The caveat to this is corn. The corn is a grass. It's a big grass, but it is a grass. And corn, you know, you don't want to pull it. You know, but hopefully if you plant corn, you know where the corn's at. So, I mean, you know, and it'll get big pretty fast. But yeah, anyways, so that's the first leaves on a morning glory. Again, they kind of look like an H shape to me. When they first come out, the crease right here at the where it touches the branch is really sharp. Whereas, you know, as the plant gets older, it becomes less pronounced. But then they've got these, you know, heart-shaped leaves after that. And it doesn't take but 3 or 4 sets of leaves before they start putting on flowers. Here's a good example. Okay, it is 2 leaves. This is a red morning glory. It does have 2 leaves, but they're basically matted together right now. It hasn't completely opened up. But, you know, that's the H shape. Again, you know, over here, several of them. But that's the point I was trying to make, was that, you know, most of the plants that you're going to grow or that you're going to, you know, eat will come up with two leaves first. And, of course, they'll be usually a whole lot bigger than what your other stuff is going to be. These are, yeah, it's okra. All these are kind of mixed up now because of the storm the other day. I mean, they're not mixed up, I know what they are, but they're setting, you know, I really had to cram everything in here because when the storm came up so fast, you know, I was running like a madman trying to get everything back in the garage and, you know, not lose anything. So things, you know, are a little disorganized right now. This is some really ratty looking coleus. Yeah, this is not something I'm growing to sell. It's just me playing around with, again, how hardy coleus is, seeing what it can take, and you know, some crappy soils, you know, clipping it back all the way, just to, you know, and again, there's some new growth coming out of it. You know, that's how you learn. Is, you know, sometimes you have to make certain things happen to learn. These are vincas. You can always tell a vinca because it has a line. It has an oval-shaped leaf. But if you look close, you can see a line going down the leaf from the stem all the way to the tip of the leaf. So, you know, it's easy to tell tell a vinca from, I've got vinca mixed with a lot of coleus. But I don't necessarily have to label them just because of the fact that their leaves look so drastically different. Like there's a coleus, you know, I talked about it having 2 round leaves. Hard to believe these little bitty guys. Now that is not a coleus. Don't know what that is, but again, I like to leave things that I don't know what they are because you never know what you're going to get. There's a little baby coleus. There's another little baby coleus, but again, like I said, they're really small and rounded. You would never believe, you know, that they can get as big as they do from how small they start. Just goes to prove, you know, don't give up on something just because it looks weak and little in the beginning. Coleus probably for the most part paid my electric bill last year. So those little bitty guys became a very big part of my life. This is a Forever Susan lily. Really, really pretty colors on that one. Never seen a Forever Susan, look one up. I don't have one that's bloomed in here, or I would show it to you. Bumping the ladder. This is an elephant ear. We've got a few of those. Of course, they're big, so they get the big pot. That's a spider plant there that I'm rehabbing for somebody. It looked a lot worse, trust me guys. It was in bad shape. But it's recovering. So, alright, I think that's about it. You know, again, that started out just as a way to show you where the weeds might be in your stuff, or grasses that might be growing up in your potting soil, and a way to kind of pick them out. So I hope it was helpful. I hope it was useful. You know, if it was, give me a like. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't, or if you haven't already. Lord have mercy, guys. I haven't been up for very long. I know that's awful, but I haven't. It was another 8 o'clock going to bed this morning, so the brain ain't operating on a full charge yet. So, anyways, you guys take care, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.